to satsang. So beautiful to be together with all of you. We start always with a question that's come in advance from our audience that joins us, our family that joins us from all over the world through this gift of technology. They join on social media, on the web, on TV, on different places, and send in questions. So we start with one of those questions, and then we'll open it up to any questions that any of you might have. There's a microphone here, a microphone there, so anyone with any questions, just feel free to come up to the microphone. But we start with one that's come in advance. How can I use yoga to overcome fear, anxiety, and stress in my life? How to use yoga to overcome fear, anxiety, and stress. Yoga is that which brings us into balance, into alignment. The word hatha yoga, right? All of the yoga that we do with our physical bodies, the asanas, we call that hatha yoga. Hatha literally means the sun and the moon. It's a balance. If you're doing trikonasana, let's say, well, okay, so part of your attention is on the arm that's down on the ground. But equal attention has to be on your fingers that are rising up into the sky. Part of the attention is on the leg in front. Equal attention must be on the leg that's behind. We're doing Virabhadrasana. We're doing warrior pose. We're stretching our arm out. Attention is here, moving forward. Equal attention must be on this arm, pulling back. It's balance. It's alignment in the body. And then we go deeper into the breath. Then we go deeper on the path of yoga into dhyan, ultimately into samadhi. Yoga is that on every level brings us into balance. Stress is a symptom of a system that is out of balance. We are stressed when we're out of balance. It may be something as simple as you didn't get enough sleep, you're overtired, or you're dehydrated, or you're hungry, or you're hot. All of these things make us stressed and cranky. 90% of the time, a good night's sleep, proper hydration, good meal is enough to calm most people's minds. But the rest of the time, it's an imbalance in the way we are thinking. We're seeing ourselves as the physical body. We're seeing ourselves as separate from others. And so our whole life becomes about what's for me, what do I get? How much am I going to earn? Where am I on the ranking, social ranking, career ranking, financial ranking, popularity ranking? We all want to be right at the top. So we're comparing and we're contrasting. Well, every time you do that, it takes you out of balance, out of alignment. Because the truth is we're one, we're not separate. But if in my drishti we are separate and I'm competing against you, or I'm jealous or envious of you, it means I'm out of balance. So yoga brings us back into alignment. Alignment, our physical body, our breath. Alignment between us and the divine. right? That's actually what the yoga means, the union, is Jivatma, this individual self, with Paramatma, the divine. It's an alignment of my mind to my muscles, of my breath to my body. When we say, there's a beautiful line in the Yoga Sutras that says, Sthira Sukham Asanam. And it means that which is stable, that which is happy, is asana. But it also means that which brings stability and happiness in our life. Meaning that yoga is that. It's not just stable on the mat, and then I'm a basket case off the mat. Stable on the mat brings stability off the mat. It's not I'm happy only when I'm in Shirshasana, but the minute I get up and the world goes right side up, then I am upside down. I am unhappy. It's not that. If I'm happy on the mat, that happiness should stay with me off the mat. So yoga is that brings stability and happiness in our lives, which is the exact perfect antidote to stress, worry, misery. So yoga is going to help you on a physical level, on a pranic level, an energetic level, on a mental level. It changes the brain chemistry, literally. And it's going to change you and free you on the deepest, deepest, deepest levels. So across the board, yes, yoga absolutely can be the answer to not only the stress and worry and frustration, but to so much that ails us today. Yeah, great question. Other questions? Anybody with any questions? Yeah, raise your... If you just come forward to the microphone. आप आइएगा सामने, माइक्रोफोन सामने है, आइए. या इस तरफ या उस तरफ. No problem.
Good evening, sister.
Just
and
one second.
Good evening. Good evening, sister.
आप बैठ जाइएगा उनके साथ, है ना? धन्यवाद.
My question is, how we differentiate yoga from meditation?
Ah, great. So, मेरा वाले बड़ा.
इन दो अलग.
I got it. Yeah. Well, sound में कुछ गड़बड़ है, वो लोग सीख रहे हैं.
Right.
तो कोई बात नहीं, इसको बंद कर दीजिएगा.
हाँ.
ये लोग धीरे-धीरे सीख रहे हैं.
नहीं, मतलब दोनों अलग हैं, योगा मेडिटेशन.
हाँ, मैं आंसर दूंगी, लेकिन उनको आपका माइक को बंद करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो मेरा माइक काम नहीं करता. If anybody is a sound engineer, by the way, let us know. Our team could use your help. In the meantime, they're figuring it out. मेरा वाले बता दो भैया. If you look at Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and you look at Ashtanga Yoga as given to us by the sage Patanjali, Ashtanga Yoga means the 8 limbs of yoga. Dhyan, meditation, is actually limb number 7. It's the 7th limb. So according to Yoga Sutra, according to Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, meditation is part of yoga. Yoga begins with yam and niyam, how we live in the world, how we live with ourselves. Non-violence, right? Ahimsa, satya, truthfulness, asteya, non-stealing, apigraha, non-hoarding, brahmacharya, right? We go yam and niyam into all of these teachings. That's the core foundation of yoga. Then we move through asana into pranayama, then pratyahara, which is a withdrawal of the senses. Means we pull our senses from the outer world. Most of the time, all of our senses are focused. What's going on around us? Our eyes are like this, our ears are like this. Every sense is like an antenna. Constantly. I always love it in satsang where here in the garden it's more spacious, but on rainy days when we find ourselves inside, somebody will open up their purse, maybe to get a cough drop, maybe for some other reason, whatever it is, but just dire, somebody will open a purse. And 100 people's heads go like this. Like nobody's ever heard a zipper before. It's human nature. It happens everywhere. Somebody will come in the door makes a little sound. Everybody's heads go like you've never seen a person enter a room before. This is the nature of attention. It is the nature of the five senses. We are hooked into everything that's happening around us. A zipper, a door, somebody's phone rings, somebody sneezes, somebody coughs. All of the attention goes there. It's the nature of nature. But yoga trains us. This is where yoga is a science of training. Not just the body, not just the breath, but actually the mind. So pratyahara, it brings those senses from the outer world to the inner world. It doesn't make you dull. People sometimes think that spirituality makes you dull. It doesn't. It's the exact opposite. Makes you very sharp, but sharp inward. So all of those senses that are used to picking up everything in the outer world, now they turn inward, pratyahara. Then we shift to dharan, which is a single pointed focus. Actually, a lot of people confuse concentration with meditation. If I am focusing on a word, on a mantra, if I'm focusing just on my breath, it's actually concentration. It's all of my awareness is on a single point. Could be a candle flame, could be the word Om, could be a mantra, could be my breath. Doesn't matter what it is. But that is the single pointed focus. And then what happens is we shift into a place in which there is no longer subject and object. See, in concentration, there's subject and object. I am the one who's aware. I am paying attention to my breath. I am paying attention to a candle flame. I am paying attention to the word Om or a mantra. But then what happens is the subject and the object, me as the subject, mantra, God, consciousness as the object, merge into one. There suddenly is no longer a subject and an object. There's no longer a distinction. And that's when we enter a deep state of meditation. And then from meditation we enter, ultimately with God's grace, into samadhi, which is that ultimate state of yogic oneness, that bliss, where there is no object anymore. There is no subject anymore. There is just oneness. So in that view, meditation is an aspect of yoga. It comes along the way. People practice it as two different things. For most people, yoga means asanas. Maybe it also means pranayama. But meditation then becomes that practice that typically again begins as concentration and then slowly, slowly, slowly takes us into meditation and then ultimately into samadhi. But in both cases, yoga and meditation, the ultimate aim, the highest point is union. Yoga, again, remember, is union. Jivatma to Paramatma. Meditation, aim, self-realization, moksha, freedom, oneness, self and God, no distinction. Self-realization, God-realization. Because there's one. There's no distinction. So as a practice, do them both. Meaning do asanas and also do meditation. But recognize that ultimately they are two ways in to the same river of oneness. One is through the body. And yoga asanas are great. They keep the body strong, healthy, balanced. And meditation takes us deeply within and shows us who we really are. I always say meditation is not a doing, it's an undoing. It's an undoing of the way that we're used to thinking, used to identifying. And it frees us from that. Wonderful. Yeah, other questions? Yes. Wait, we have a child in the back. Up, Aja. Up, Aja. We have a rule in satsang, always children first. Yes.
What are yoga for kids?
Great. Great. Yoga for kids.
Thank you, Didi, for giving us opportunity. Thank you very much. Because this question, I think, belongs to each and every child, parent sitting over here. Because in today's life, where we are going towards digital India or digital world, basically, mainly जो kids हैं, like in Indian scenario, they go and they basically when parents are not home, they are much connected to
Question to me, समझ लिया पूरी.
Exactly.
आप आजा. आप आजा.
Come.
हाँ, चप्पल छोड़ो और आजा. आप इधर आओ. हाथ वाले माइक देना. Thank you. Okay. What's your name?
My name is Revansh Srivastav.
Wonderful. And do you do yoga? Yoga करते हैं?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Wonderful. And what do you feel? थोड़ा सा नजदीक आ जा. Then we can. There you go. What do you feel when you do yoga?
Good.
How good? Good in what way? Good in what way? कैसे अच्छा लगता?
Do like push-ups.
हाँ, मतलब शरीर को अच्छा लगता है या मन को अच्छा लगता?
मन को.
मन को अच्छा लगता. अरे बोलने दो उसको. पता है उसको. He's very smart. He's very smart. Yes. मन को. Wonderful. मन को कैसे अच्छा लगता? क्यों अच्छा लगता?
हाथ.
हाँ, हाथ लगा दिया. या फिर मन को क्यों अच्छा लगता? मन में कैसे लगता?
मन में लगता है कि मम्मी करना बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. Wonderful. So yoga is really important for kids. It's really important on many, many levels. It's important for their bodies. It keeps the bodies strong. It helps us grow in a way that's in alignment. Especially these days, जैसे Pitaji ने कहा कि the kids are all in a digital world. So these days we are losing that connection with our physical body. And that connection is so important. So important. And yoga gives us that connection because we have to pay attention to the body. Is the knee straight? Is the knee bent? Yeah, if I'm in Shirshasana, मन थोड़ा सा इधर उधर जाए, मैं गिर जाऊंगी. You have to pay attention or you will fall down, right? So it's wonderful for the body, gets the body strong, but it also makes the mind strong. Because sometimes the mind says, I can't do it. But then you can do it. And it makes the mind very, very, very strong. And it makes the mind very, very calm. So children should do always 2 different types of yoga asanas. Number 1, they should do ones that are very vigorous. Jaise Surya Namaskar. But you can do Surya Namaskar in a way that is much more slow and methodical. And you can do it in a way that is much more energetic and fast. Kids should do it in a way that is fast. Get that blood pumping. Get their coordination going. Let them jump between the different postures. Get that wonderful coordination. Hand-eye movement, hand-leg movement. Get the balance. But then, they also should be given having to hold asanas for a long time. So you get into Trikonasana, and you should be able to stay in Trikonasana for at least 3 minutes without moving. I want you to practice that. Staying in Trikonasana, no moving, 3 minutes each side. Because what it does is it trains us. Otherwise, as I said, we are very distractible. If you see, wherever you are, we're very distractible. Constantly wanting to be somewhere else, do something else. It's the nature of the mind. But for a successful life, if we are not able to stay focused, we will never achieve success. And so we have to give our children the training of staying focused. So they should hold each asana at least 3 minutes. In Trikonasana each side, in Virabhadrasana, in Shirshasana. Hold it as long as they can without moving. It will train them to stay focused. And then sometimes they do it really fast like calisthenics. Both different ways. And they should always have some pranayam and some meditation, even 5 minutes of meditation. But just some meditation. If you teach your children to meditate, you are giving them the very best gift you can give them. They will scream and yell for a mobile phone. But if instead of the phone you give them meditation, I promise you, 5 years, 10 years from now, not to mention the rest of their life, they will thank you. Phones they'll buy, they'll get them. But that teaching, that habit of meditation, if you can give them that from when they are young, it is the best gift you can give your children. Dhyan bhi karte? Dhyan bhi karte? Do you meditate?
In school.
In school? That's wonderful. Can you show me how you meditate? Kaise karte? Khade hoke? Oh, great. Okay. Dikhao. Kaise karte? Wonderful. Okay. So, khade hoke bhi dhyan kar sakte? You can meditate while you stand up, no problem. But if you can also meditate for a few minutes when you do yoga at home, at the end, just a few minutes. Get them to learn how to sit and just pay attention, just watch the breath. These skills are things you cannot buy. And they're much more difficult to learn later in life. If you can teach this to them when they are young, best gift in the world. Wonderful. Keep it up. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, come.
Om Shanti. I came from Singapore and I'm very blessed to be here today. I have a question. Even when we know that attachment is one of those vices which Bhagavad Gita also tells us to eradicate and get away with, are there some practical steps that we can implement to let go of attachments and things that we hold on to, like be it people, anything around situations that keep lingering on in our minds? How can we free us from that?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, attachments keep us stuck. The first aspect is really a Gyan Yoga aspect of understanding that the attachment is what's killing us. If somebody drops a burning hot coal in your lap, you're going to naturally pick it up to get it out of your lap. But you're going to throw it from your hand as quickly as you can because you recognize not only is it burning my lap, but it's now burning my hand. And you're going to throw it. You're never going to keep holding on to that. Because instinctively, you don't need your brain to say, acha ab kol ko chodo, ab throw it away. Automatically the body throws it because it's burning us. We understand. If you touch something, you touch a stove, it's hot, automatically, long before the brain kicks in, the hand is going to come off. Because we know, jal jayega, I'm going to be hurt. We actually have a very powerful intelligence within us to let go of things that are harmful to us when we really know they're harmful. The problem with a lot of what we're attached to is the mind plays its games and we convince us, well, maybe, well, just this once, well, shayad ho sakta. Whatever it is we're telling ourselves, it's convincing us that it is okay to hold on. It means we are not fully convinced that this thing is harming me. One of my favorite stories is of the village in India that was overcome with monkeys. Now we know we have monkeys everywhere, but there was a village where they were really overcome with monkeys. Stealing everything, jumping on people, hurting people, just, being nuisances. And they tried to figure out what to do because obviously we believe in ahimsa. They were not going to harm the monkeys. But how to get the monkeys out of the village and back into the jungle. So they came up with this plan where they took coconuts and they hollowed out the coconut. They removed all of the malai from inside the coconut. And inside the coconut, they put something that monkeys love. A piece of fruit, some sweet, some mithai. And the monkeys would reach into the coconut, grab hold of the treat. But here was the trick. When they made the hole in the coconut, they made the hole big enough for an empty hand to go in, but it was too small for a closed fist to come out. So the monkeys would reach in, grab hold of their prize, but then they could not get their hand out because their fist was stuck. Now, we would think monkeys are intelligent. They'll just let go of whatever it is and they'll bring their hand out. But they never did. Now, if you've got 4 legs and one of your legs is stuck in a coconut, obviously, you cannot run, you cannot climb trees, you cannot do anything. And so they were easy to be captured and sent back into the jungles. Now, I love that story because this is exactly what we do in attachment. We grab onto something. But even though it is that thing which has made us stuck, on some level in our mind we think mil jayega, kisi tarah se mil jayega. I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get my hand out. If the monkeys realized that they would never get their hand out with the sweet, they would let it go. But some part of their mind keeps telling them, no, 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 keep trying, you will get it. इसलिए नहीं छोड़ते हैं. And what that means is that in our mind, if we are holding on, there is some part of our mind that is living in illusion, convincing us that we will get it. And that is why Gyan is so important. To really understand this attachment. This is the thing that is making me stuck. This is a burning coal in my hand. This is my hand in a coconut. And really realize that actually this thing has made me stuck. And then the second step, phase 2, but phase 1 must happen first. Nahi to phase 2 ko ho nahi sakte. For phase 2, you have to reattach the mind somewhere else. What is a higher goal? So if I'm attached, let's say, to making money, and all I think about is money, 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 and I'm always greedy, and I'm competitive, and I'm constantly just thinking about how I can get more money, totally attached to it. Well, to free myself from that, first I realize all of the joy I think I'm going to get from this money, actually it is killing me in the process, stealing my life, stealing my freedom, stealing my happiness, stealing my focus, stealing my attention. Once I realize that, then I go into phase 2, and every time my mind starts to think about money, instead, I focus on a higher goal. What do I want more than money? Right? Well, money is just paper. Right? We saw what happened years ago when we had the demonetization. Something that had value, one moment, an hour later, it had no value. It was just paper. But we want the money because ultimately we want something from the money. We think ki mujhko usse Kushi, Shanti, freedom, power, whatever it is I'm wanting. But at the end of the day, ultimately those core desires are joy, peace, freedom. But we just think we have to go through a whole chakra to get it. Pehle job karo, khub sare kaam karo, work 100 hours a week, ताकि खूब सारे पैसा कमाओगे. फिर खूब सारे पैसा से फिर बड़े-बड़े गाड़ी खरीद लेंगे. Right? Fear to this, fear to that, fear to that. Then finally, end of the day, खूब सारे पैसा कमाने के बाद, फिर end of the day, मेरे को समय मिलेगा जिसमें मैं ध्यान कर सकूंगी. End of the day, finally being the richest person in the world, finally I will have time that I will meditate, that I will be in nature, that I will spend time with my family, that I will do some seva. Well, पूरा चक्कर जाने के बजाय अगर मैं सीधा आज से ही start my meditation, start my seva, start spending time with my family, start spending time in nature, then I will get that happiness that I'm looking for without having to go through the whole attachment cycle. So ask yourself ultimately, what is my highest goal? Am I looking for joy? Am I looking for peace? Am I looking for freedom? And how can I get there in a straight line rather than via these attachments that ultimately at the end of the day are just causing me more pain. So every time then you start to think about the thing you're attached to, instead shift your focus to that higher goal. So the brain goes money, 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 money. I say no, 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 no. Meditation, 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 meditation. And instead I focus on meditation. The mind says, if I'm the monkey, banana, banana, banana. No, 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 no. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is much higher than my banana. Kelo kochordo, freedom kiriye. Ask yourself, what is the higher goal? And then focus on that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Have a beautiful rest of your evenings. We will now be having satsang again regularly in the evenings right after Ganga Arati. So those of you staying with us here in Rishikesh, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And if we didn't have a chance to take your question tonight, bring it in tomorrow and we'll take you first thing tomorrow evening. Have a beautiful